Welcome back to She Can, where women lead by example. Women tell their stories. And why is that so important? To lean into our stories, to be role models and mentors, because it's easier to be what you can see, and it's easier for people to dare have conversations that we would otherwise maybe shy away from. I'm very, very grateful to Jenny Rayner today to be on She Can to tell her story. Jenny, you're the CEO and board member of the Lucy Rayner Foundation. You're the driving force behind this very important mental health charity since the death of your daughter Lucy by suicide. You became a motivational mental health speaker and published author of 2 books, The Hummingbird Process and Let Your Truth Set You Free. You offer counseling services in Surrey to young people. You do training, events, mental health services. You help and advise people who are struggling. Tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you got to set up the Lucy Rayner Foundation.
Okay, so let me take you back just a little bit prior to the death of my daughter. I come from a very corporate background. I was the sales director of a publishing house, and we did B2B publishing for the airport industry, the airline industry, the duty-free industry. And we controlled all of their conferences, exhibitions, online services, publications, and I headed up the sales department. I did a lot of traveling and I had a very nice lifestyle. I've got 3 girls and I'm married to my beautiful husband, Stuart, for about 37 years now. But in 2012, my middle daughter, Lucy, always struggled with her emotions. But in 2012, a few things happened for her. She got made redundant and she had a few money worries, and then she split up with her boyfriend. And I think those 3 things kind of got her to a place where she didn't want to be here anymore. And so she ended up taking her life. Now, as a family, we weren't really clued up on mental health. We knew that Lucy struggled with mood swings. We knew that she struggled with her emotions. She had big emotions for things that we thought weren't really appropriate. Like, for example, if she had a ladder in her tights going into work, she'd have a complete meltdown and won't want to go to work, and she'd have like a proper upset and cry. And to me, that wasn't a reason to get so heightened about a ladder in your tights. I would say to her, just get a new pair. But she would already have got herself worked up. So we kind of knew that she had this ability to be quite manic in the way that she presented. We knew something was wrong. So 2 weeks prior to her ending her life, she had gone to her GP and she had told him that she had these feelings and she couldn't really control her emotions. And they told her it was hormonal. So they changed her contraceptive pill. So she came back home and said, there's nothing wrong with me. It's hormonal. I've got new contraceptive pills. And so we just assumed the GPs are right in what they're saying. It is hormonal, but in the back of my mind, I knew it was more than that. Because as a child, she was always having tantrums. She always, had low mood. And when she'd get upset, she would cry for hours. And then when she was happy, she'd be very, very excited. So I knew it was more than that. And so when she ended up taking her life, and that day is something that was imprinted in my head, I will never get over it. It'll be something that I will carry for the rest of my life. Yeah. But you have to move on. You have to get on with life because life doesn't stop for you. You have to just move through it. And when she ended her life, it was, as a surprise, it was a shock because we didn't know she was even planning this. It was literally the day after she'd broken up with her partner. She broke up with her partner. It wasn't the other way around. It was almost like everything had started to shut down for her. And this was the final thing for her to do before she ended her life. And we'd all gone out for the day. She'd made sure we'd all gone out for the day. We wanted her to come with us to cheer her up. She said, no, I want to be on my own. And so we'd all gone out and we'd gone for lunch. And then we'd had a phone call, are all your girls with you? And we was like, no. They'd found somebody at the back of our garden. And my husband was like, we need to go. And we were like an hour away. So we got in the car onto the M25. My husband was driving like a maniac. But in my head, the thoughts were, it's not her. She wouldn't do this to us. And I kept saying it to him. And my husband was like, it's her. But I was like, no, it's not her. But actually, when we got to the scene, got to our house, our road was cordoned off. There were police there. There was ambulance there. There was a helicopter. And I knew then it was her. And so we tried to get into our house and we were not allowed to. My husband nearly had a fight with the policeman because obviously he wanted to get into the house. And they told us that there was still a heartbeat. And so we need to go to East Surrey. She had been airlifted to East Surrey Hospital. So we'd gone to the hospital, sat in the waiting room. It must have been like 45 minutes. And we were hoping that there was still a heartbeat and that they could resuscitate her. Yeah. So we waited, and then eventually the GP came in, the doctors came in and said no, they couldn't save her. And really that's when our lives imploded, you know, the shock of it all kind of settled in. My husband just broke down. I kind of went into something like a doing mode. What do I need to do now? There's lots of things to organize because I'm much more practical. When I get traumatized, I get focused. And so I needed to direct that. Couldn't blame anybody. So I had to kind of direct it into something else. We did the memorial for Lucy and we had a massive turnout. We raised a lot of money. And I thought, well, what are we going to do with this money? So we took this money to her GP surgery, the GP that said it was hormonal, and said, look, can we have like a counsellor or like a psychiatric nurse at your surgery? And they said they'd already got one. And I kind of looked and said, you have? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, if you've got those services, why didn't you refer my daughter to any talking therapy? And they said she didn't present as someone that was depressed. Yeah. So I asked the question, what does depression look like? And they didn't have an answer for me because depression doesn't have a colour. It doesn't have a social standing. It doesn't have a gender. It doesn't have a culture. They looked at her and made a decision because Lucy masked. Lucy would go out with immaculate makeup. She would be impeccably dressed and she would look well turned out. Yeah. So they looked at her and made a judgment, not based on what she was telling them, but what she looked like. And that made me really angry. That's when the anger came out. Mm. And I walked away thinking, oh my God, if I didn't see it, if the GP didn't see it, how many other young people slip through that net? How many other young people don't get seen or heard or validated? And I thought, okay, I need to do something. So as a family, we sat down and said, we need to start a charity. The thought of another young person dying by suicide, I couldn't bear. So a year to the day, we started the charity. And now, 13 years later, we have 50 counsellors. We don't have a waiting list. As soon as someone presents and does a referral form via our website, they get seen within 48 hours. They get an assessment and then they get a counsellor allocated to them. So for me, that is my biggest achievement. Last year, you must have seen something like 866 young people.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Jenny, I'm so touched when I hear your story. And I've met you at my children's school where you did a presentation. And this presentation was so unbelievably well done and touched everyone in ways that I don't even think you understand, because it was so powerful. And I think we live in times where we are educated enough that we have a mental health crisis, but we don't necessarily have the services in place, and people fall through the cracks all the time.
Yes.
That's why it's so important for you to be running the Lucy Rayner Foundation, for these services to be available. And really, more people have to stand up and do those kind of initiatives, because we are not there in terms of national mental health services to really be able to cater to all the people that are feeling anxious, depressed, out of control. The world is a pretty complex place at this point in time. I think we've never seen the numbers of young people experiencing mental health issues. And therefore, tell us a little bit about all the services that you offer, because I remember in this presentation, you do an enormous amount of raising awareness, which is something else that you do extremely well. And it means leaning into those conversations that need to be had, that we are shying away from. We're shying away from them as families, as individuals, as places of education, school, etc. We're trying to wrap our heads around it, but really we shy away from it. So tell us a little bit more about all the different services you offer.
Okay. So as well as having our counselling services, and I have to say our counselling services is for young people. We start at 14 and we go to 39 because we feel that that is the age where life transitions happen. You know, from school to exams to university to relationships, having children, to getting a house, all of those happen within that time frame. So we want to support young people who are going through those transitions, and they can be scary and they can affect your mental health. So we do counselling, and then we do support services for men, for women, for families. Because, for supporting somebody that has mental health issues, it has a massive impact on your family. And it's about supporting each other through those times when it gets heavy, and to give hints and tips about what you can do to hold space for your young person. Or if you're struggling yourself with mental health, what you can do to support yourself. Mental health is for everybody. We all have mental health as well as we have physical health. That's really important to say at this point, because your physical health can be a result of your mental health, and your mental health can be as a result of your physical health. Absolutely. So we do men's support services. We have men's groups. We have 2 online and face-to-face, as well as the women online, face-to-face. We do a once a month family support group where families can come together, support each other in a really safe space. We run a suicide bereavement service, because when I was bereaved by suicide, there was no one to tell me that life was going to get back to some kind of normality, that I would survive it, because even at that point, all of us were very suicidal. All of us were very anxious. All of us were like at rock bottom, and I couldn't see a way out of it. So we hold space for other families that have been bereaved by suicide to share and to say, you can survive this. I've been through it. I've got the t-shirt. I'm still standing. Lean on me. Let me know what you need so I can help you navigate through these traumatic times. So, we see about 87 families a year who have been bereaved by suicide. And that's just in Surrey. So you can imagine in the UK how many people die by suicide.
Yeah, many. Jenny, do you want to give us your top tips for our young people, how to reframe and think about their mental health?
So like you said, in this society now with the technological age and people being more on social media and on their mobiles, and with the world as it is today, young people have a lot to contend with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are very much silent. They're on their own, they're isolated. Although they have friendship groups, they're very much on their own because they use the phone, they're on their phones a lot of the time, and it's very isolating. So I would say to young people, come off your phones, give yourself some breathing space from your phones. It shouldn't be an attachment to you.
Mm.
You should be able to set it down and have time away from your phone.
Yeah.
Go out and spend time with your friends. You don't need to text. You don't need to call. You don't need to Snapchat. You don't need to use Instagram to let the world know how you're doing. 9 out of 10 times it is false. It's a false image. Connect with your friendship groups face to face. No FaceTime, because you can't read somebody via text. You can't read somebody on Insta, on Facebook, on Snapchat. You can't. By looking someone in the eye and speaking to them, there is a connection there.
Yeah.
So go out, be social, because we're losing those social skills. Spend time with your friends.
Yeah.
And to parents, I would say, learn as much as you can about mental health and how to connect with your children. And it's difficult in this day and age, for parents who have children that are stuck in their bedrooms on their computer playing games. Find ways to connect to them. Go out with them. Take them for drives. Go for a walk. Find things that really get them out of the house with you, where they can open up and talk quite honestly and openly. That's really important to know where they're at, what they're going through. Conversations is what's needed to have, and having open conversations. Don't be frightened to ask questions around your self-esteem. Are you feeling low? What's happening at school? Where are you with your friendship group? Are there anything that you're struggling with? And if they are having mental health issues, ask questions. Are you feeling suicidal? Don't be frightened to ask those questions, because 9 out of 10 times they want to tell you.
Yeah.
Are you self-harming? Show me. They want to tell you. What are the things that you're struggling with? I'm here. They want to tell you, but they just don't know how to. So we need to find ways to connect, to get under the skin. And, if they say everything's okay, just keep asking, because eventually they will tell you.
Yeah. And have the conversations and remove the shame around those conversations, because
absolutely. And it starts with you as parents. It starts with you.
Yeah.
Role modeling is key. If you're an anxious person, yes, your child is also going to be anxious because they're modeling your behavior. So you have to check in with yourself and look at your behaviors. Am I being open? Am I being vulnerable? Am I showing love? Am I good at connecting? Maybe there's things about yourself you have to look at and change and modify to allow your child to do the same.
Yeah.
So these are things that we have to look at.
Jenny, and that is your journey. You had to look at all of those very hard to look at things.
Yes.
What do you feel are your challenges still today, 13 years later?
So for me, my challenge is fundraising, finding enough money to be able to service the people that are coming through. Yeah. We get inundated with young people wanting support. And they come through our website, and 9 out of 10 times they don't tell their parents that they're having counselling through us. And then it's free. So we're constantly having to fundraise and put money forward to support these young people. And God forbid if there's a time where we have to say, I'm sorry, we can't have you, That would kill me. So we're constantly always looking at ways. We have an amazing, my daughter feels exactly the same way as me. So we are constantly we do like 30, 40 events a year just to be able to fund our services. So that is a massive challenge for me. And also reaching the young people, the avenues to go. And we have quite a comprehensive schools program where we put counsellors into schools. We do talks and workshops like we did at your school to reach more schools. Some schools don't want us in because they don't want to face the fact that there is mental health issues within the school. And they want to have like a good outlook for Ofsted, that they don't have bullying and they don't have self-harm, they don't have eating disorders, but they do. And allow us to come in and do those talks, because obviously we want to have a whole school approach where we involve teachers, pupils, and parents. So everybody has the same information. Everybody knows what they're looking for. Everybody knows the signs and symptoms. Everybody knows how to approach it.
Yeah.
Knowledge is key.
Knowledge is key, yeah. And for more people to be able to see the warning signs, and potentially it takes a village. And so it's
absolutely
for the different stakeholders to be informed and understand potentially when there is warning signs that families need to be aware of.
absolutely.
I think sometimes young people don't understand the severity of their situation before it's too late. You know, it's the pushing away. When you have a bad feeling coming up, I'm pushing it away. So this way of sitting with feelings that are disturbing or bad is something that we've lost. We've just lost it. We're not trained to sit with what is. And
yeah.
then experience the knowledge to know everything is temporary. This feeling is going to leave me. This is a phase.
Yes.
And so I think because we lost that ability and we don't teach and mirror that to our young people, that's definitely a contributing factor to this mental health crisis that we really experience worldwide. Jenny, which is why it's so important to have people like you telling their stories, even though that must be hard for you each time. And you really overcame the hurdle, and you're out there and you're doing and you're walking the talk. And so tell us a little bit more about how people can support you. Tell us about the level of fundraising you need. How can people contribute?
Okay, so we're currently working on a project, and the project is to have a wellbeing centre in Surrey. We have the land.
Yeah.
We have everything that we need. We just need to raise some funds. But the wellbeing centre is going to be first of its kind in Surrey, where young people can come, and it's going to have a holistic approach where we will have different type of holistic therapies as well as clinical. We're going to have art therapy. We're going to have, gardening, where people can grow crops, learn about food and nutrition, even understand how to cook to feed your body in the right way. We want people to be able to come and just be themselves and discover the tools that can help them build their resilience in a more holistic way.
Yeah.
So we need to raise at least £2 million to be able to build this facility.
Yeah.
We have a crowdfunding page. You can come to our website where you can donate. Email me. I can give you more information about it. This is going to happen pretty quickly. And this is the legacy piece that we're doing for Lucy. We're doing for the world. And it's really important that young people have a place to go to that bridges from the GP to long waiting lists. There is a place that fits in between those two things where they can get help straight away before crisis.
Yeah. Jenny, I'm so grateful that you tell us about this project. I have various friends who had children who were suicidal and they couldn't find a single place in the UK to take them to because they weren't safe at home. And our national services are full and they had to go abroad. And that is a massive undertaking for families. It pulls them apart. It's very, very expensive. And so there really aren't places in the UK that cater to families and suicidal children. So I will try and make a little, help you and mention you as much as possible and include you
Thank you.
in our intro to the new podcast. So we will do what we can and she can. Lucy, tell us a little bit more about how you run the Lucy Rayner Foundation. I know you have your daughter involved, you have 50 counselors or more, you have so many amazing programs. You had to step up and be a leader. What would you say defines your leadership style within your organization?
So I lead from the front. I have done everything that I've asked any of the people who work within the charity. I am always at the fundraising events. I'm not one of these CEOs that sit back and let other people do things. I am involved with everything. Like you saw at your school, I'm delivering workshops. I'm going out to corporate companies. I'm delivering the mental health first aid training. I'm at any event that my daughter runs, giving a little talk about the charity and why we're there and why we exist. So I lead from the front and I don't ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't step up and do. So for me, everybody that works within the charity understands why we exist. We sit together, we strategize together. I don't do it on my own and say, this is what I want us to do. We come together as a collective. The goal is for all of us. We all buy into it. We all want the same thing. And so when we step out as a team, we all know what we're here to do. Yeah. So there isn't really a dividing line between the people that work and the management team. We all bring something together.
Jenny, which is palpable and comes across very powerfully. You are leading with your story, and that's what makes this so successful. Jenny, what are your plans and your goals? You are planning to build the well-being hub. Are there any other services you want to expand on?
So at this precise moment in time, the Wellbeing Centre is the final destination for us to house everything that we have. Because at the moment, we're holding all of our support groups in different places. Yeah. We're doing our training in different places. I want it to be all under one roof so that people can come to us, not us keep going out. Yes, we'll go out still, but I want us to have a HQ that's worth coming to and be proud of it. So that really is the destination for the charity. And of course, we want to keep delivering the best service that we can, always looking at how we can give a better service, always looking at how we can polish what we're giving and expand that out to more and more people. So, the reach also is where we want to reach more schools, reach more young people, reach more corporate companies where we can be their charity of the year so they can raise funds for us. And, when we engage a corporate company, we also offer our services for free. We can come in and do resilience training. We can come in and do mental health awareness. We can do lunch and learns. It's a win-win. We don't want to just take. We want to be able to be a partnership, a true partnership. And I think that's what makes us stand out than the other charities, because we want it to be a partnership, a true partnership. Yeah.
Jenny, and
ultimately, I'm also developing myself. I want more tools in my toolkit to help people. I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm a Reiki master. I do shamanic work. So I am on a healing journey too, so that I can support other people. I couldn't support Lucy, but I can support others now.
Yeah. Jenny, what would you like for people to take away from your story?
Learn about mental health. Mental health is for everybody. If you learn the skills to recognize the signs and symptoms in yourself and in others, and to know where you can get those resources, then everybody is individual. Learn about yourself. Improve your mental health by building your resilience. And that's what I want for everyone to be able, we're all unique. You've got to put on your own oxygen mask before you can help anybody else.
Yeah. Jenny.
Starts with you.
Starts with you. That's it. Jenny, thank you so much for this very inspiring conversation, this very healing conversation, leaning into a tragic loss that happened to you, and you are now helping hundreds and thousands around Surrey and the UK. And so I'm so grateful for you to come forwards. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy our conversations, if you find them helpful, if they make you feel a little less alone, if they've triggered something to you to take action, which is exactly what we're here for. Thank you so much, Jenny.
My pleasure.